Hey guys, it's John with ReelBlue Custom Rods and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to do another 3D Chevron fade wrap, if you will. I recently did one that was black and gold, and you can see that build here in the upper right hand corner. But today I'm going to do one on this bait net. I'm going to use 4 different colors. So let's go ahead and get started, and let me know what you guys think as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and move that. So the first thing I want to do is I've got my bait net here. I've got the net taken off the top. I've got the thread wrapped on there, my base thread, if you will, for metallic green for a base wrap on it. And then what I like to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm trying to see if this color would work well, but I don't like it because it's hard for you guys to see it. So let's go with a white thread. So I'm going to cut a piece of white thread, and I'm just going to show you the trick, something I like to do sometimes when I'm doing different wraps and setting up for this. So what I like to do is take a piece of thread, in this case, a white piece of thread, and in getting ready for the wrap, I'm trying to find my center point, if you will, on the rod, or in this case again, the bait net. And then once I have that, I lay that down. And what I want to do is I want to go in, and I know that the diameter of this bait net is 3/4 of an inch. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go in and make marks for every 3/4 of an inch on this build, so I have my center point. So I'm just going to start at 1 because it's a little easier with this ruler. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm just making a mark on this white piece of thread here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just marking that red thread. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then once I have that marked, what I want to do is come back here and move that red thread or that white thread and make my red mark. Now this is just a technique. There's all kinds of ways to do this, but this is a technique. And then what I can do is I can just kind of move that, make sure those lines are there. Yep. All right. And then what I like to do is I'll pop this off, and then I'll rotate this to the bottom side. Make sure that I'm nice and level on the bottom side. And then I'm going to come back and do the same thing. But since I'm marked on my thread, I should be able to make one mark without that thread there. And then I should be able to line that up, just like that. And then I should be able to take this thread. I've got it in my center spot. Because I made that mark already. Oh, I'm a little stretched out. Okay. So now I just come in there, mark, mark, mark. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start my first wrap. We'll get some tape on here, and then we're going to go ahead and start the first wrap. All right, and we'll lay that tape down there. Actually, I want to back that off just a tiny bit. Let me tear that actually a little bit thinner. And I'm going to need a spot where I can get my thread wraps on there once that's complete. So I'm just going to start right there. I know this is my top, but we're going to go ahead and make a couple marks just so we remember that's our top. And then I'm trying to think what colors I want to come in and use on this. So I think I'm going to come in with this pink color. That's my top, so I want to cross there, right about there. My angle was off a little bit there, guys. Sorry about that. So right about there. All right, then we're going to come back. We're going to make sure we cross in the spots that we want to cross at. And then right there. Right there. And right about there. I want to make sure that my cross spots are even with regard to the wrap here. And then right there, and then we'll come off. All right, so that is going to be our first one, but now we're going to go back down. And so when we go back down, we're going to set this up right at these other crossing points. And we'll come back and do that again. All right. And then again, I'm just making sure these cross marks are close to where I want them to be at. So if I have to adjust them a little bit, it's not too much work to do that. Okay. And then I'm just going to cinch that down. And then we'll cut that. And then that's really it for kind of setting the conditions for this wrap, right? I'm just kind of setting my guidelines, my baselines where I want them at. And then what I want to do, I just want to come in and I want to look at all of these crossing spots and make sure that I have them where they're supposed to be at. And so all I'm doing is just using my burnishing tool, and I'm just adjusting these cross marks so they're all on that line, that access line that I have. All right, so I come back here to the top where my dots are at. I'm just adjusting these lines. Oh, that's a little too much low right there. Okay. Yeah, that's right where I want those at. And I'm going to go to the bottom. Same thing. Adjust these to where I want them, all those to cross at. And we're doing all of this work before we start wrapping, so our stuff will look as straight as possible, or symmetrical, if you will, as possible. So I've got my red marks that I made. Again, I'll do that here on this tape. Right here, this is my top. All right, that's my top. And then I'll rotate it over. This is the bottom. And I want to know where that bottom is when I'm doing some of these wraps. So what I think I'm going to start off with is we're going to start off. So this color, that metallic color that I just laid down, that was Pro Wrap Metallic size D 9160, or excuse me, 9610. That's what that looks like. And then now what I'm going to use Pro Wrap Color Fast size A 313. And we're going to lay down a few wraps of this. We're going to go down and wrap 3 of these. All right, so there you go. That's 2. And we'll wrap another one. All right. Okay, so that's 3 on that axis. And then what I want to do is just come in here with the burnishing tool and just pack those threads. Don't move them too much, right? Minimal moving there. All right, and then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and we're gonna do the same thing on the blue axis. All right, cinch that down and repeat that 2 more times. All right, this is 2. And then do it for a 3rd time. And then I'll show you guys where this differs from the black and gold that I previously did and talked about here at the beginning of the video. So I'm gonna go down. All right, pull that tight. Okay, and then we're going to come back, burnishing tool. Just pack the thread. All right, so hold on a second. All right, so where this wrap is going to differ from the black and gold one that I previously did, that I was talking about here at the beginning of the video, is that like I'm using, I mean, these colors are pretty close, but if I was doing something like the black and gold here, I'll just use this. Oops, sorry. So I made the down passes with the 313 Color Fast Pro Wrap, and then I would make the back passes with the yellow with the 101. But what I'm doing different now is I'm not going to make the back passes, meaning working back towards the butt. I'm not going to do that in a different color. I'm going to keep it in the same color. We're going to go right on top, and we're, again, 3 passes. On the red axis. All right, come down and tie that off. And then do it again. Come right back down. There we go. So this is going to be the second pass. All right. And then one more pass on the red axis. All right, so that was the last pass back towards the butt on the red axis. We'll pinch that one off. And then, of course, come in, pack the thread. All right. And I'm working quite quick here. Again, I'm not trying to move this thread around too much because I don't want to, move my cross points. But I am trying to get that thread to pack in there a little bit. Come back. There we go. All right, and then we're gonna make one more set of passes back down, this time on the blue axis. All right, blue axis coming down on the top side. Pull that tight. Then we hit two more. Alrighty. And we got one more that we'll do here. I gotta add some tape down here after this wrap. There's the third on the blue. All right, and so that's that for that one. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little bit of tape. Cinch that down with some tape. And we'll put some more tape down here on this end. All right, and then all we're gonna do, again, same thing. We're gonna pack that thread. There we go. Okay, so now that we have that done, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back in with the ProWrap Color Fast 301 size A, and we're going to make one run down each on the red axis and then on the blue axis. Right here's our red axis. We'll go down. We'll go all the way down on the red, and then we'll come back over and then go down on the blue. And we'll do the same thing. Now we're going to go down on the blue axis or axis. And then once we get down here, we are going to, now we're just going to come right back on the red axis. All right, we'll get down here, we'll cut that, and we'll go back up and we'll attach and then come back on the blue axis. All right, and so that was back down on the blue axis. Carry that down, tie it off, or cut it, And then we're going to come back in with the 313 Pro Wrap Color Fast, which is the first color we started with, right? The first Pro Wrap color we started with. And then now I'm going to go down on the red axis. And we're going to do 2 passes or 2 wraps on the red axis, and this is getting into that fade. So it's going to be a fade / 3D look. The fade comes from how we're incorporating a thread, right? And then the 3D look is coming in on when we make the passes. All right, whether we're going down towards the tip or coming back towards the butt, right? Then I'm going to do a second one. And what I should have done, because I'm doing this 3D wrap, I should have packed the thread when I did the 301 color, just the 1 wraps, because they've crossed already. So I should have done that, but it's all right, we'll do it now. All right, so that takes care of the red axis. Now before I go in here and do the same pass on the blue axis, I'm just packing these threads. Making sure we get that all packed in there nice and neat. Want a nice tight look here. So I'm just taking my time, moving the thread. Probably the most tedious part, man, of doing these decorative wraps, quite honestly, is packing your thread. To me, at least, it feels that way. And I know a lot of people just do their wrap and then they pack the thread at the end. But I feel like this is just, I don't know, it's probably the same amount of work when it's all said and done. But I just feel like this is a little bit easier. So now I'm just doing that one single strand of that 301 color. Just getting that in the right spot. All right, and then same thing here. We'll rotate. And I'm gonna have to come back and do that again anyways once I put this 313. Sorry, I got my hand in the way, guys. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back on the blue axis on the way down, do the same thing, 2 wraps. So we're gonna find out where that is at. Right there. All right, so 2 wraps on the blue axis with the 313. And again, I'm not applying a lot of pressure here. All right. All right, we're gonna go back down. Do a second. Put that second thread on there. All right, so that's the second one. Now I'm just gonna let that sit there for a second. And I am going to, yeah, we'll go cut that off just because I'm getting ready to turn this. I was just gonna leave it there and then make a pass down, but it's all right. All right, so now I'm gonna go to my blue axis. And I just wanna pack these threads. And so far, I think these colors, I think this color combination really works well together. And so that so far the pink bubblegum colors, if you will, 301 and 313 color fast, and then the metallic green is a 9510. But I used a size D because it's got the metallic background of the bait net. And so I want, and it's such a long stretch, I wanted the size D thread to help me take up a little bit more space than size A, but I also wanted the D because it's a little thicker. You know, you guys, when I was laying down the D or the green thread, once I had it laid down, I came back with my burnishing tool and just kind of ran over it to flatten the thread out a little bit to help, you know, cover up most of that gold stuff there. So that's why I did that. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to go down and we're going to go down back towards the butt end of the bait net on the red axis. All right, so we're gonna go back down on the red. Same thing, 2 patterns or 2 thread passes, not 2 patterns, 2 threads. On the red, go down and then go down on the blue with 2 passes. All right, cinch that off, come back up here. All right, so now we're going to go back on the red for number 2, pass number 2. And again, by, you know, working from the butt end to the tip end and then cutting your threads, like making all of your wraps in one direction first and then stopping and then making your wraps back down in the second direction. That's what's helping us give that 3D. And by adding more than just one strand of thread, right? Whether you're just going down and back, down and back, down and back. But here we're doing multiple strands, you know, multiple strands of thread going down and then coming back. And so that, again, is helping give us that 3D look to it. And then now we're going to come, actually, I'm going to pack my threads. All right, and then now we're gonna come down on the blue axis. All right, so come down on the blue axis. Oh, wrong color. Darn it, I grabbed the wrong pink. All right, so we're back to the 301, or excuse me, the 313. And we're gonna come down on the blue axis. And then we'll go back up to the top one more time, get that bite going, to come back down on the blue axis. All right, and then that's it. We'll take that off or cut that, actually get that stick to the tape. And then we'll come back up here. All right, and then that is that. And then we're gonna come back now with the 301 and we're gonna do 2 wraps. And actually, I think what I wanna do is I'm gonna put some tape down, especially down on the far end. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make 2 passes on the red axis. All right. We'll come back down, make the second pass. All right, and now we have the second pass on that one for the red axis. And And then you know what time it is. It's burnishing time or thread packing time. So start down here really. And we'll start packing the thread. And when I'm applying the tip of this burnishing tool, I am not digging in to that green thread below it, right? I just setting it kind of on the top and then turning the blank, or in this case, the bait net, and then just kind of letting the twisting and letting the two things, just holding the burnishing tool in place and turning the rod, really do the work with very, very little pressure. All right, and then now we're gonna go back down. Same thing, this time on the blue axis. If I can get this thread to stick to the tape, there we go. Now we're gonna go down on the blue axis, 2 wraps. That's 1. And then this will be 2 on the blue. All right, we'll go down here. I'll tie this one off on the blue axis. Okay. And then make sure we go in there and pack that thread. All right. So far, I like these color combinations, how this is coming out. Remember, I've got 2 more colors of thread that I'm going to introduce. So if you think you know what those colors are going to be, leave them down in the comment block below and let me know what you think those are. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to make 2 passes back down on the red axis. All right. There we go. Pull that in tight and we'll cut that. Come back down. 1 more on the red. All right. And we're going to pack the thread for that. All right. And then one more pass down on the blue side, or the blue axis. All right. And then one more, and then we'll move on to the next. Back with the 301 color. We'll come in here. All right. Okay. Making sure that's nice and lined up so we're not moving it too much. All right, pull that tight, cut it. I'm going to put another piece of tape on here. And then I'm going to come back in here on the blue axis is where that came in at. And we're going to pack those threads. All right, and cruising right down here to the end. Okay. All right, guys, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to go back with the 313 Pro Wrap by ColorFast, and we're going to make one wrap down on both the blue and the red axis, if you will. So we're on the red axis, one wrap. This will be the last time we use this color on this wrap, I think, for right now. Unless, you know, as we get along and I see that I want to add some more, but I think for this part here, it's definitely the last part we're going to use for the fade, if you will. So one on the red, and then we come back up here, and then we're going to come back down on the blue. All right. And the more we go, the more I think I like this color option, or I'm happy I chose these color options here. All right. So that takes care of the blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and come down on the red now. All right, almost done. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and pack the thread now. And just holding that burnishing tool there, not a lot of pressure. All right, and then the same thing here. So we're going to come back down over here. We're just making sure everything's nice and tight. Okay. Everything looking pretty good. All right. Then we're going to add one more, which is going to be the blue axis going back down. Oh, I'm off. That one's already there. Here we go. All right, blue axis going down. All right, and we'll tie that off. And pack the threads here. All right, and then now what we're going to do is we're going to get in to the third wrap of the 301 or the bubble gum. And we're going to make 3 passes on both the red and the blue axis. So this is 1. All right, there's 1. And then before I continue, I'm going to just make another mark. Just making a little bit, my mark here. I'm just making that a little bit more red so I can see it. All right, now we're going to do wrap 2 for this one on the red axis. All right. Okay, and then now we're going to do number 3. All right, so what do you guys think? Now that you're seeing some more of this 301 bubblegum pink color with this hot pink, what are you guys thinking about the pattern so far? Do you like the pattern? Can you see it starting to take on its kind of 3-dimensional look to it? Let me know down in the comments block. And of course, if you like it, hit the thumbs up. Let me know that you like what you see so far. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in and we're going to burnish. So I'm actually going this way. So we're going to burnish or pack these threads. And just of note, man, as a reminder, when you guys are using color fast threads, you really want to take the time to make sure that you don't make any mistakes, or you minimize the mistakes you make when it comes to your NCP thread. Because remember, NCP thread, it's not going to hide any of your mistakes when you put the finish on top of it like a regular nylon thread will. So you'll actually be able to see, especially when you're using size D thread, you'll be actually able to see each individual strand when you're using NCP thread or non-color preserver thread. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going down on the blue axis now. All right, that's one. And then come down on 2. All right, so that's 2. And we're going to make one more pass. And then I'm going to have to put some tape down here on the far end. We'll make one more pass on the blue axis. All right. All right. And so that is on number 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little tape on here. Okay. And then burnishing tool. for the blue axis. All right. All right, let me go back. There we go. Tighten that down a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to come now with the bubble gum or the 301, and we're going to come back down 3 times on the red axis. Again, very important. Going up on one axis. And so for me, because I'm using red and blue, right? So red is the top of my rod, blue is the bottom of my rod. So I'm going down the rod or up the rod towards the tip of the rod on my red. And then I'm also going, then I go up on the blue, then I come down on the red, then I come down on the blue. Okay, so now we're coming down on the red. And we're doing 3 of these bad boys. All right, so here is 1. That's 1. Two. All right. And then we'll do 1 more on the red. And we'll have to come back down on the blue. And then I think it's going to start to get a little bit more exciting because we're going to incorporate the 3rd color. And going down on the 3rd one, going down on the red axis. All right. And then cut that. Now we want to come in here and pack these threads. Again, get everything nice and tight. Okay. All right, then one last time, we're going to come down on the blue. You can really see that pattern starting to come to life as we lay down these colors and get this fade really starting to happen, you know, incorporating the colors and making the fade part happen. You really start to see the pattern that's coming out in this wrap. And you can start to see the three-dimensional piece to it if you look. Like if you look really hard, like right in here, you seems like almost looks like there's some depth, like you can stick your finger down inside a box and touch the green spots. At least that's what it looks like to me. And I think you guys would probably say the same. And that was, yep, that was one, right? Yeah, that was one. Cut, come back here. All right, two. All right. That's two. We got one more to go. And I'm hoping I've got these colors picked out. I mean, I think I've got some good space in the third and fourth color. What I mean by space, some empty numbers between the numbers. Like this one again is 301 and this one's 313. So the other ones I have are a bit different, a little bit higher, but it starts off with a 01, as you guys will see here in a minute. All right, so this is the third and final wrap. No, excuse me, yeah, third wrap for this one, not the final wrap with this color, because we still need to fade in the next color. And what I'm running through my brain right now is, do I do another lighter? Do I start at the low end of this next color, or do I start at the higher end of this next color when it comes to the number? That's what's running through my brain right now. So let me pack these thread. All right. Okay. All right. So I have all those done. So now the dilemma is to incorporate the third color. And the third color on the light end, it's 101. So it's the yellow color. And on the darker end, it's 119, which you can see here is a bit darker, right? So now I'm just trying to determine where I want to incorporate that. Do I want to come in with the dark one first, or come in with the lighter one and then go to the darker one? If you see what I'm saying, I'm just trying to figure out if I want to have that dark light color, or that dark light to dark color. And I'm not sure. Hard decision. Tough making some adult decisions in life, right? I think what I want to do is I want to go with the light one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. Again, this is 101. And then I'm going to come in on the red axis. And we're going to lay down one strand along the red axis and the blue axis. All right, so one strand there. then we'll come back. And we're going to lay there we go. Now we're going to go down on the blue axis. And I'm going to pull this down and get it tight, and I'm just going to leave it there. And I'll work a little backwards a little bit here. I'm just making sure that that yellow thread is tight. And I think I made the right decision by putting a light one first, I think. But we'll see. We will see, guys. Okay. So now we're going to go down on the red axis. Let tight. And now we're going to come down on the blue axis. All right. And that's really it for that one. And I'm going to add some tape again to this. And then what we're going to do is burnish these. Pack that thread. And the same thing on the blue axis side. All right, and then that's that part. So the next step, and now you can really start to see that, it's almost like you can drop your finger in there, right? At least that's how I look at it. Like you can almost drop your finger inside the pink and the yellow area. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back with one strand of the pink, or excuse me, 2 strands of the pink. On the red axis. Right there, which I need to make a mark on my tape. Maybe even just right there. Okay. So we're going to make 2 passes with the pink or the bubble gum. Pull that tight. Again, come back here, start again, another pass on the red axis. All right, cinch that down. And then pull out the burnishing tool. And we want to pack that thread. All right. Okay, and then now we want to do the same thing on the blue. Going for 2 passes here. So now that you're starting to see some of this pink on top of the yellow, I'm hoping you guys are in agreement that you like the color combinations here. All right. And again, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit the like button. Let me know what you think, or just leave a comment down there. Let me know what you think about the color combination here.
I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah. I just see her face wherever I look, she's standing in the crowd. So let go, I don't want to, but I'm gonna try when she left me. Yeah.
All right. And then on the blue axis, we are here. We're just tightening those up. Again, not a lot of pressure with the burnishing tool. Just turning the bait net handle or turning your blank. And then just holding that burnishing tool there to pack those threads kind of as you turn it. There you go. And then now we are going to come back down on the red axis for 2 wraps.
I just wanna see the light.
All right, tighten that down. And then again on the red axis. All right, so that's the 2 on the red axis going down. We'll cut that. And then we will burnish, pack threads. All right, and we'll do that one more time on the blue axis. Wow, that looks really good. I hope it looks as good. Well, at least I hope, I think it looks good. And I hope it looks as good to me as it does. I hope it looks as good to you as it does to me. I hope you guys are really able to see kind of what I'm looking at here and the effect that you get from the thread and from the wrap, if you will. All right, and then this is the second. All right, and second and last wrap on this part here. All right, and that's the blue. There's our thread. So we're going to go ahead and pack the thread with our burnishing tool. And then again, bam, stick your finger in there. Just drop it in. Just drop it in there. It's like a little box in there, a 3D box. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and put some new tape down for this thread. And we're going to come back with this yellow thread. All right. And then I'm going to use my red marker again, and I'm just going to make a red mark there. I got my blue mark down there on the back side. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back in with that 101 color. And we're going to go down on the red axis. And we're going to do that 2 times. Again, not a lot of pressure here. All right, pull that down. And then we'll do that again. And I like how, I mean, of course, it's kind of self-explanatory, but I like how you continue, as you continue to go, it just continues to build on itself and become even better than what you thought it was going to be sometimes, you know? And I think that's what's happening with this wrap. Oh. All right, so this is 2. Pull that tight. Stick it back down on the tape. And then we're going to come back in and we're going to use the burnishing tool. Again, not a lot of pressure here either. I'm just moving that. Just packing it lightly, not trying to move all those threads, right?
Like a light, lighting up in the dark. You make it right, I forgot how to act. It's so classic. Every time you make me nervous and I lose my words. It's been a while since.
Okay. And then now we're going to come back and we're going to go back down on the blue axis now. 2 times.
Now I know why it never worked out before. Hello, it would always turn out better.
All right. Cinch that off. We'll come back down. Second wrap on the blue axis. Okay, so what do you guys think? Let me know what you think down there, how it's turning out so far that we've made this second yellow, layer, the double yellow, and I think it looks good. But and again, I do believe I think it's looking better than kind of what I thought it would look. But I think it's going to look even better once we go down towards the butt end. So again, I'm going to stop, just going to use my burnishing tool. Pack these threads. Just light pressure. Maybe a little, like if you see like a gap somewhere where maybe you didn't get it pushed down all the way, you can add a little bit more pressure, just enough though to move it, right? You don't want to put a whole bunch of pressure and to make your whole wrap go off balance. All right. Okay, so that's that. So now we're gonna come back to the top and we're gonna go down on our red axis for 2 wraps. And then again, I think it'll really start to pop even more. It's kind of cool, you know, what you can get out of fading, you know, whether you're going down and back, down and back, down and back, or if you're doing like what we're doing here today, where we're going down, you know, 3 wraps and then coming back 3 wraps and going down 2 wraps and coming back 2 wraps. And so putting that layer in there, giving it that depth, but it's really cool the patterns that you can achieve when you use multiple colors. And I think, you know, really the trick is fading multiple colors really gives you, you know, that unique look that you hopefully you don't see anywhere else, right? Unless you're copying something that somebody else did. You know, a lot of people use similar colors, but like it's cool when you fade these in. I mean, look, we're 3 colors here. And I still have a whole nother color to go, right? And so it's really cool to see the kind of look that you get when you fade, you know, doing just basic fade wraps, but doing them in different ways. It's really neat the look that you get, the real custom look, unique look, custom look, one of a kind look. All right, so that's 2 that we went down on the red axis. And then now we came down, so I'm gonna burnish these in or pack these in. All right, and then now we're going to go up and come down on the blue axis. And again, we're going to do this 2 times. Yeah, see, I want to go back and burnish that a little bit. I saw a little spot where the threads looked like they were not packed completely together. So I'll just finish this one first. Pull that tight. And come back in here. Where did I see that at? Right in here somewheres. No, maybe we're good. Okay. Then we'll come back down one more time on the blue axis. Okay. And that takes care of the last one on the blue axis. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go in here and we're going to pack that thread in. Make sure it's good to go. And just pack that. Oh, right there we go. All right. And then, okay. And then now we're going to come back with our bubble gum, that light pink 301, and we're going to make one pass on the red and blue axis going up. All right. Okay, so take that off. And then burnish tool, pack threads. All right, and I'm just going through, packing that thread, making sure that's laid down how we want it. Then we're going to come back and go down on the blue axis now. All right. I'm just going to leave that on here for a second. So I'm going to pack that blue axis thread. All right. And then I'm just going to go right back down, but I'm going to roll this up and then roll this back. All right. And so now that I came down on that blue, I'm going to go down on the red. All right. And we'll pull that down and tight, cut our thread. Then we will burnish or pack that thread in, that single wrap of that pink. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing and go down on the blue. And then once we get down here to the end, we will be rounds complete with that pink 301 NCP thread by ProRep. So now all I want to do is I'm just going to go back, find my blue axis here, and I am going to burnish that thread in, pack it in. So now we're done. And with that, both pink, so the really kind of the hot pink and then the bubble gum, we're done with those. And then we're still working with the yellow, the 101. And we're going to come in with 3 wraps of the 101 on the red and blue axis, going up towards the tip of the rod, right? So now we're coming in with 3 wraps. And again, you can see that depth, right? Like I like to think you can just stick your fingers down in these holes in between those. That's why I think that's why I call it kind of the 3D look, right? Sometimes I feel like you got to stare at it to see it sometimes, but you can still see that 3D look. It's pretty cool looking. So that's one. Come back down here, do it again. Had a little accident there. We go. Decided to come off the tape. All right, so where are we at? Here we go. No, yep, here we are. So this is 2. Pull it down tight, give it a little tug. Get it divided in that tape. All right, and then we're going to come down and do number 3 on the red axis. And that is it on the red axis. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some tape on here. The same thing down here. And then make my mark again with the red marker, just so I'm tracking on this left side where the red mark is at. Then I'm just going to come back with my burnishing tool and pack those threads, right? Yep, there we go. All right, so now we have that 101 color on the red axis. Now we're going to go up on the blue axis 3 times. All right, so this is gonna be 1 time. Two, this is gonna be 2 here. Okay, and then we'll do 1 more on the blue axis, and we'll pack those threads in. There we go. All right. Okay. So now that we have those 3 on the blue, we're just going to come back with our burnishing tool, pack those in. Okay. And then that's it. Now we're gonna go back to the top and we're gonna take the same thread, this 101, and we're gonna go back down on the red axis 3 times. Okay, that's 1. Two. All right, that's 2. Now one more time on the blue axis, excuse me, the red. All right. Now that yellow is starting to fill out, it's really looking interesting. Okay. All right, so that's 3 on the red axis. We'll take this off, and then we'll pack the thread. So here we are right here on the red axis. I'll pack this thread in. All right, and then now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go back on the blue axis 3 times. Sorry guys, that thread trying to slip off that tape back there. Okay. So that's 1. This will be 2. All right, this is 2. We'll go back and do 1 more. Then we get to do some exciting stuff and introduce the 4th color to this, the 4th and final color to this. So here is the 3rd wrap on the blue axis. Okay, so we have that now. We're going to come in on the blue axis, pack this thread in really quick. All right. And now what we're going to do is we are going to introduce the 4th color. So you can see that it's like you drop your fingers in there. So now we're going to introduce the 4th color. 4th color is also a ProWrap Color Fast color, and it's Color Fast 119. So this is what we were currently using, 101, right? And then here, this is 101, and here is 119. It's a smaller spool, but you can see how this one is a bit darker. So from 101 to 119, 18 number difference in the color by the color code, if you will. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tie this in. All right, so now we're going to tie this in. We're going to go down on the red axis. Bam, right there. And it's darker. And I know it's hard to see when we lay it down next to that 101 color, but it is darker. But as we do more of the fade with this and the 101, I think it will stand out a bit more. So that's 1 down on the red axis. And then now we're going to go down on the blue axis. Get right there. And I didn't even go in there and pack that thread, so I'm going to pack both of these after I do this one. Oh. I'm going to set that down. Got this yellow thread not wanting to participate or cooperate. Maybe that's the right term. So I'm just going to back this off. There we go. Get it laid down in the right spot. All right, so now we're going to pack this or get this tight on that tape. Then I'm going to pack the thread on both of those axes. So we'll just do this blue one, this last one I just did first. And then we'll go back and we'll pack it on the red axis. Here we go. Hold on. Get my hand up there. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to move that thread. There we go. Move that thread. And then I want to do the red axis. Okay. Now we're going to go down on the red axis here. Okay. Tighten that down. And then red axis right here. All right. And then now we're going to do this last one, and we're going to come down on the blue axis. All right. Okay, guys. And so we went down on the red, down on the blue. So now we're going to tighten that off a little bit, cut the thread. And then now we're going to pack the thread on the blue axis. All right. Okay, guys. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come back with the 101, and we are going to make 2 wraps on the red and the blue axis going down towards the tip. So again, this is going to be 2 wraps. And this is really should start mean, it's already coming together, but it should really start, you know, as we introduce the second yellow. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is that the other yellow, that is the 119, maybe not dark enough. I think it is, but I'm kind of worried that it might not be. All right, here's the second wrap. But I think it will be, I think it'll be a good color because it's a bit darker. This is more kind of the neon yellow. And I think that other yellow is a bit darker. So I think it'll come out. It's just, we'll see here. I think once we get into doing the next wrap with that one. All right. And we'll cinch that down, tape it off. And then we'll come in here with the burnishing tool. Yeah, I can see it there real close when I'm looking, and I pack the threads here. I can see it. So it'll be interesting once we make another pass with that color. Just going through here, packing these threads. Sorry for getting my hand in there, guys. I'm just trying to make sure I get this stuff packed the way I want it. All right. And so now we're going to do the same thing and go down on the blue axis. All right. All right. That's the blue. First one on the blue. Cut that one. Do that again. Oh, okie dokie, halfway done there. All right. And then once we finish this one here, all right. Actually, I'll just leave that thread right there. And then I'm just going to go back and pack these. Again, not a lot of pressure. Packing these threads, and now we're going to come back once I get these finished here. Yeah, everything looks good. So now we're going to come back down. Since that was the last time going up on the blue, we're going to come back down on the red for 2 wraps. All right, cinch that off. Go back to the top come back down on the red. All right. Okay, now we'll tie that off, and then we'll pack these threads on the red axis right here. Yeah, now that I'm seeing that other yellow thread, that 119 that we're using, I think is going to be perfect. Once we start laying down those other threads with that color, I think you guys will see that stand out a bit more. Okay, and then now we're going to come down on the blue. For 2 wraps. All right, that's one. And we'll do one more. On the blue. And then we'll pack these threads in, and we'll come back with that 119 and see if that's going to stand out a bit more. All right, so we go to the blue axis. Okay, so now we're going to come back with 119. And we're going to go down on the red. For 2 wraps. Yeah, I think this is a good contrast. This 119 is a good contrast to the 101. Now that I'm seeing, while I'm laying it down to this other thread, I think it'll be more prominent for you guys on the camera, on the screen, if you will, once I get a second one on there really quick. All right, and we'll do that again. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to look good. I'm happy with this choice of yellow. Again, this is 119 Pro Wrap Color Fast. All right, pull that tight, cut. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pack those threads. And then we're going to go back down on the blue. We're going to go back down on the blue axis here. There we go. And we're again doing this twice. All right, this is the first one on the blue. We'll do the second one on the blue. And I know that this has been a bit of a longer video, the longest video I've made to date. And so I just want to thank you guys for staying with me and watching the video. Hopefully you watched the whole thing. Hopefully you learned something from the video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below and let me know what kind of questions you have, and I will answer them in the comments block. I don't know why I did that. I could have just kept it on there. All right, so I'm going to come to the blue axis, pack these threads. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we're going to go back down on the red, and this is why I don't know why I cut that, but it's okay. I'm going to go back down on the red now. For the same thing, 2 wraps. All right, that's 1. Pull that tight. And again, go back down again on the red for the second. All right, pull that tight. And then we're going to burnish that red axis here, packing these threads. Guys, we are almost getting to the end here. Almost. And then we're going to come down on the blue. For 2 wraps. And you can really see that other yellow in there. I think you guys can see it. You can kind of see we're a little darker, a little bit darker. And I think that is a good look. It's not super dark. It's not quite a big difference like you see in the pink. But it is it's enough of a difference that it allows you to see it and also gives it a little bit more dimension. I think, at least. So that's that one, and we'll do one more on the blue axis. And then we'll put some more tape down. All right, blue axis. All right. And then we're going to cut this. All right. And we're going to pack the thread on that blue axis really quick. And then we're going to start heading for the home stretch on this wrap. Okay, so let's put a little bit more tape down. We'll come down here. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing down here. Then we're going to go ahead and make that red mark with my red pen. You can see that's all I'm doing there. I'm just making this red mark again just so I remember where it's at. We'll start adding this. Again, we're going to go down on the red axis. One single pass. All right. Just tighten it down a little bit. I'm going to come back to this end. We're going to do the same thing on the blue. I want to be right there. So we'll come here. One single pass. Yep. On the blue axis. All right. And then we're going to cut this. Actually, I'm going to leave that there because I'm going to go back down on the red. So what I want to do, though, is I want to come over to the red axis because I didn't pack that thread yet. I'm just going to pack this thread. Get this one packed all the way out of the way. And then I'm going to unwrap this a little bit. And we're going to do the blue axis. All right. And now I'm going to go down on the red. And just see a little thread there. I want to burnish that in. Now I'm going to go down on the red for a single wrap. All right. Down on the red for a single wrap. We're going to burnish that red axis, or pack that thread on the red axis, if you will. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing on the blue axis with the 101, and this is going to be the last time we use the 101 color, going down one wrap on the blue axis. All right, and then that's it. 101 is done. We can cut this and put that away with the other colors, but we want to come back and pack the thread on that blue axis. And then we're going to start making our final wraps with this 119, which is going to be 3 wraps with the 119 on the red axis going up. I want to say that's right here. Yep. So 3 of these. All right. And we'll pull that tight. Come back down here, do it again. Going back up on the red axis. And then we do one more going up on the red. All right, one more. Going up on the red with the 119. And then what we'll do is we will pack this thread with the burnishing tool. All right, so we got that on there. Pull that tight. And we'll take our burnishing tool on the red axis. Come over here where it starts at though. And we'll come in and start packing this thread. Again, that was 3 wraps. Three wraps of the 119, and I'm kind of just pushing in these corners. And using the tip of that burnishing tool to move that over. Yellow is a good color. It's a good color because it's a bit darker, like I was saying, but you can still see the difference, but it's light. But it gives that dimension because it is a different shade of that yellow. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing, 119 down on the blue axis. Blue axis right here. We're going to do 3 wraps of this. Again, not a lot of pressure with my right hand where I'm holding the spool of thread. I'm not pulling tight. I'm not pulling down really tight and turning. I'm just a little bit of tension with the right hand and turning with the left hand. And then, hey, I'll tell you what, pro tip, and I'll show you guys here. You guys may have already noticed what I'm doing, but if you haven't, I'll just point it out. So let me get this started on the blue axis. Blue axis, right? Yep, blue axis. Okay, so you can see my hand in the screen here, my right hand. So I'm laying that thread down. You can see my right hand. And as I turn the rod, I'm going to pull my right hand away all the way down. I am probably 7-8 inches from that bait net handle. And that allows me to move the thread left or right like this. You see in the picture there? That allows me to move that thread left or right a bit easier as I rotate the rod, and it helps me lay the thread down where I want it to be at. So that's a little pro tip for you. Just a technique I like to do. I think it works pretty good. All right, so this is number 2. All right, we gotta make one more pass. On the blue. All right, this is the 3rd pass on the blue axis. And then what I will do, all right, now what we'll do is we'll pull this one down tight. I'm going to cut here. And then burnishing tool on the blue axis, which is right here. We started here. So again, sorry for the hand, just got to get this thing started. So again, I'm pushing into these points with my burnishing tool, and then rotating is just helping me pack that thread a little bit more as we add more thread to this wrap. Again, not a lot of pressure. I'm not trying to move all these threads. I'm just trying to move the ones I just laid down. On this bait net. Okay, and then now we're going to go back down, excuse me, for the last wraps on the red axis. And so we are going to do 3 wraps on the red axis. All right, so this is 1, Trying to make sure I'm close to where I need to have it at when I pack the thread. It's not too much work. So that's one. I'm trying to get away without having to add more tape down here, but if I have to, I will. Okay, this is number 2. All right, that's number 2. And then one more on the red axis. Okay. All right, so that was the last one on the red axis. Pull that tight, cut it, and then what we're going to do is pack this thread on the red axis. And I really like how this is turning out with this yellow. I was a little worried, but you guys can see the difference in there. I was a little worried. And it's not as drastic again as the pink is, but I was a little worried that you wouldn't be able to see it, but you can definitely see the difference. And I think just that slight difference in the color here, is everything, to be honest. So that's it for going down on the red axis. Now we're going to make our last passes on the blue axis. Just making sure I'm not having any issues with my thread. Now we're going to make 3 final passes on the blue axis. All right, that's 1. We got 2 more. On the blue axis. And almost there, guys. Now we got 1 more to go. Oops. Okay, so now we're going to go down for the last time on the blue axis. Okay. And then pull that tight. All right, and then the blue axis, we're gonna pack this thread. Come back into the red. And you can see, because I didn't pull it so tight, this thread moves easy for me with this burnishing tool when I just turn the blank or the bait net handle here. Again, that's because I wasn't pulling down tight and making a lot of pressure with that thread. All right. And then that's it. So we have the 101 and the 119, followed by the 301 and the 313, or vice versa. Those are the colors that we did this 3D fade wrap with. But wait, there's more. We're not done yet. There's one last thing we have to do. And if you remember, what did I start this thread wrap out with? That's right. I started it out with a 9610 Pro Wrap metallic color. So what I want to do is I want to make one pass. And this is a little bit thicker. This is a size D thread. All of these threads were size A, except for this metallic thread. This is a size D, and it popping off. That is the only thing I don't like about size D when it comes to this tape. There we go. Okay. So now I just want to find the red axis, which is right there. And I just want to make one pass. And again, I think the trick here is this is size D. So it's a little bit thicker. So it should pop a little bit more. It's kind of what I'm going for here. And I'm going to follow the same technique that I did earlier. Meaning, now I'm going to come back. I'm going to make sure that stays on there. I'm going to come back. Oh, no. Yep, I'm going to put some tape on here just to be on the safe side because this is a little thicker. Bear with me, guys. This will just help me make sure everything stays in place by having some fresh tape on here. Okay, same thing down here. And then I'm going to come back down on the blue axis. And I think all of those wraps look pretty good, so I don't think I need to burn it. No, I'm going to do it anyways. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So we're going to wrap this down. There we go. We're going to cut that. And then all I'm going to do on the red, I'm just going to use my burnishing tool, make sure everything's in the right spot, packing the thread down very lightly because it's just one wrap. Again, I think the key here is this is size D. I know that may seem pretty, not important, if you will, but I think it is. And I think you guys will see why here. Because I think that, with the other threads being size A, this size D hot pink metallic color will just pop a tiny bit more, a little bit more prominent to border it out. is what really I'm looking for here, right? So that's why I did it as the first wrap. And then that's now why I'm doing it as the final wrap. So now I'm going to go back down one time on the red. And really, this metallic thread is really contrasts with the yellow, so it really borders it. But I also believe that this metallic thread, and because it's a size D, you know, it's framing it out. It's framing out the wrap, but it also what's accentuating or popping the wrap, giving it, just magnifying the 3D look. So what I'm going to do is come back here to the red axis. I'm just going to pack this thread. Don't you even think about it. Thought that thread was going to try to come off the tape a little bit. That size D is super thick compared to the A, especially when you're talking about, you know, metallic. There you go. I'm going to do that one more time on the blue axis. Sorry, I got thread trying to unwind off this tape. All right. And that's it. I'm going to pull that tape or pull that thread tight on that tape, get a bite into it, cinch it down, come back with our burnishing tool on the blue axis, pack the thread. There we go. And one last thing I'm going to do, I am going to take a piece of just masking tape. And all I'm doing is putting masking tape over this metallic thread because how it likes to pop off that tape. So, and then that's it. That masking tape, I just wanted to hold it in place so while I'm talking and when I get ready to wrap this off, or, you know, secure these wraps with some other thread that they don't come loose. So, but that's it. That is the 3D, you know, fade wrap with 4 different colors. Again, from start to finish, we started with a base wrap, 1 wrap of the 9610 metallic. And then what we did is we came in and started the fade wrap with the 313 by Pro Wrap Color Fast. And then we faded in from that 313 with this 301, which is the bubble gum. So the hot pink to the bubble gum. Then we faded in the 101. And then we faded in the 119. And then we finished back off again with the 9610 metallic thread. So that is the wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'm sorry. I know it was a bit longer than normal videos that I do, but I hope you guys enjoyed this wrap. I hope you think it looks as good as I think it looks. And I hope you give it a shot and let me know how it turns out for you. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't done it before. Leave a comment below. Feel free to share the video with anyone you think may find it useful. And make sure you guys watch this next video here. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye.